Okay folks, welcome back. Today it's Christmas. We have a really nice day. Today we're about 15 degrees above normal. So we've been pretty warm all December and November, really haven't had much cold. But it looks like we might finally have some cold in the future here, so I'm going to get these hives wrapped up for the winter, add some dry sugar for emergency feed, and kind of show you what I do here to get my bees ready for the winter time here right before we get the final push. So a lot of my 5-frame nukes over here, I've kind of smushed them all together. What this will do is it helps with the heat. They can kind of share warmth between the hives. I'm going to wrap these up with my concrete blanket, which I'll show you here in a second. But with the 5/5s, it's a pretty small thermal mass for them to try to keep warm out there sitting by themselves. So I like to put them together, and that'll help with the heat. I usually try to put a full-size double deep on the ends just to kind of help insulate the smaller hives, and that seems to help throughout the winter time, keeping them warm. What I've got over here on the top, these are feed shims that I'm gonna put dry sugar in. These are made with a 1x3 that I've cut to match the tops. Try to get out of the shadow here. Try to match the tops of my nukes or my 8-frame double deeps, and then on the tops I drilled a 1/2-inch hole so the bees can get in and out throughout the winter if they need to as they move up in the hive. And come springtime, they'll pretty much be using that top entrance over the bottom one. As the colony moves up, they'll start working that top entrance, and then as the spring develops, I'll remove that, and then they'll go back to use the bottom one, so it's not that big a deal for them. But it helps with moisture. The dry sugar will help absorb the moisture, and then the heat from the colony, it'll go up through the bottom and then kind of come up that top hole, so the moisture kind of evacuate out of that. It was a lot more apparent when I lived in Wisconsin and we had below 0 days. You would see frost on the entrances in the morning. Here in Missouri, you're just not going to see that. You might be able to put your finger over the front of it and feel some heat and moisture escaping, but anyhow, I'll show you kind of what we do there here in a second. So coming over here to the back of my pickup truck, we're going to be putting dry sugar in there over the top of the frames. I've got this freezer paper. I'll just put that on there, and the dry sugar is going to lay on top of that. And then surrounding the hives, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap them up with this insulated concrete blanket, which this is some stuff I purchased when I lived in Wisconsin and was beekeeping there. So it's 2 layers of a tarp, and it's got some insulation in between. It's not super thick, but with this is more for a windbreak. I'm not using it as much, to hold in the heat. This will help maintain the hive's temperature throughout the day and the night. It won't be wild temperature swings when it comes, when we get down to 20 degrees or less in the night. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing here in a second. So I'll get going on that, and we'll kind of join as I move along. Okay, so this is what looks like with the sugar on it. So I just lay the freezer paper on the top, and I put about 5 pounds of dry sugar in there. For this part of the world, anyways, last winter and the winter before, they really didn't eat a whole lot. I had a couple hives here towards the end of the winter and stuff start hitting the sugar, but most of them never even touched the sugar. I just had this in here as an emergency. So right now, the cluster was kind of right over in here in this area. Obviously I'm not going to go down and see what they're doing down below, but there was a decent cluster of bees on this side. Like I said, right now they can get right there where my finger is. You can see there's an entrance there, so they'll go out that top entrance. This sugar, it'll help absorb moisture within the hive. And then what I'll do is I got these the foamies for my inner cover. Those will go on the top. And the lid goes on there just like normal. Throw me a little concrete block on there, and then it looks just like that. If I have any big gaps in the sides, I've got duct tape to kind of tape up any gaps because I don't want any wind blowing through there. But for this little group of hives, I'm going to be covering them with the concrete blankets, so that'll help keep any wind out. But I don't want anything like in the front. You know, I want everything pretty tight. So right now it looks pretty good. So we'll keep working on these hives. Right now the bees are flying today. Really nothing for them to do, but they're out pooping and doing whatever bees do in the wintertime. So next we'll kind of see what it looks like after I get the concrete blanket tarp on. Okay guys, so here we are with the finished look. So all my nukes here are kind of bookmarked with the bigger 8-frame hives. I've added the concrete blankets around there and just tied it down there with the ratchet strap so the wind doesn't blow it away. Kind of got a single wrap on the back. Tops that had extra. These tarps are 25 feet long, 6 feet wide. So I doubled up the tops a little bit. Get a little more insulation on the tops and the sides. Coming around here on the back side, just got concrete blocks weighing it down for the wind, and a couple on top. So fairly straightforward. Again, these I purchased in Wisconsin. I don't know if you could find them in Missouri. I'm sure you probably could if you looked at a construction supply store. Around individual hives, I've used the 2-inch pink foam board, insulation board, and I've done the same thing. I ratchet strapped them around the sides, just kind of cut them to length to match that, just to try to give the hives a little extra insulation. And then up top there you got the upper entrance. Put dry sugar in all of these, so hopefully they'll be looking all right. So I can adjust that one there. And then this is kind of what's going to happen for the winter time. We'll kind of see what happens over the winter. Hopefully it's not too much of a temperature swing this year. We kind of hopefully stay even. Like I said, right now we've been about 15 degrees above normal, and looking here probably after the first of the year to get down into highs in the 40s and 20s at night, which is really about the perfect temperature for the winter. But it's when it goes from 20 to 60 and back down, that's the swings that get us with the moisture and bees breaking cluster and going back into cluster and etc. So hopefully this will help regulate their temperatures a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. Have any questions, put in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.